Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrera along with your other host,
Tristan Walter.
And Tristan Walter, we are doing the Doctor Who Christmas special, the 2016 special, not only in 2017, not only in the summer, but in like 80, 90 degree weather. I sat back watching this Christmas special and I was like, oh, Snow, how are you doing, old friend? I am just dying in my house. I'm melting. While fucking Justin Chatwin, or I'm sorry, the kid playing Justin Chatwin, is just fucking having a grand old time.
Right. It's not snow, Matt. It's just the spaceship, breaking apart in the atmosphere.
Well, I was talking about in the beginning, but okay, cool. Sure. Thanks for bringing it to that level at the end.
Well, I mean, I'm quoting old Christmas specials. It's never snow. It never snows in London. It's just ash.
That's true.
From what?
Well, remember
From the explosion. Oh.
Remember, the ash is in New York now.
Right. Yeah.
They went.
New York didn't explode, thankfully.
Thankfully, yes. As two New Yorkers, we were very happy with that. But we're very happy about that outcome. I don't know what year this is supposed to be set in, but still happy about the outcome.
Yeah. Not Superman saved us.
Yes, of course. Not Superman. The Ghost. Ooh, spooky. So I would like to say something before we make jokes and whatever and say some things we disliked. I have to just say outward, this might be one of my favorite Christmas specials ever, and more importantly, it's the Christmas special we needed. Because even if you weren't the biggest fan of it, it's not you personally, Tristan, but anyone listening at home, even if someone wasn't a fan of this, I get it, right? I understand why you might not be a fan of it, or you may have looked at some of the stuff that was a bit too over the top, and instead of laughing like I did, because I truly believe that they were trying to do some of the certain things, they were trying to do certain things as like a joke, kind of, like to be laughed at. What I mean specifically is a lot of the stuff that Grant was doing,
right?
To me, I felt as if he was doing it, like, not him personally, but like the character doing it, we're supposed to chuckle. Like, we're not supposed to look at some of his superhero lines and be like, yes, take that 100% seriously. Like, no, like, it's supposed to be like that
part of the joke,
golden age, part of the joke thing, where it's just like, ma'am, you seem to have had a fall. Like, haha, you're so fucking funny, Grant.
Yeah.
But still, right, even if you didn't like it, right, I understand, I get it. But I think it's a special we needed. And I say that simply because of the fact that, and the reason why it's coming off as one of my favorites, at least in my head, out of the last few, is because it was something different. We got away, even though Doctor had a companion, his companion is very hands-off, at least for this special, and that's okay, right? Like, I was happy to just have a special with the Doctor, with someone who either didn't, someone new. And I say not just someone new in terms of his companion, but just the entire story in general. Because the last Christmas special that we had with River, I don't know, man. Like, I know, like, I said that I enjoyed it because it kind of, it's fun, in a funny way, it felt more Christmassy than some of the other ones. But still, I felt, like, even though I liked it, it still felt like, oh, we're trying to advance the Doctor's story and we're not really, doing like, it could have been a standalone special. It didn't have to be on Christmas.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Husbands of the River Song did not have to be on Christmas. The one before it, where we had Clara and, it's when she was dealing with the loss of Danny Pink, and when, and the Doctor was there and everything, and they were kind of just talking with Santa, quote unquote, right? It obviously felt more like, it did feel like Christmas, right? It was a Christmas special, but still, having to I don't want to say deal with Clara, but having Clara there, right? And then I can't think of the one before it, but it's just in my head, it feels like we've been dealing with, God, I said dealing. We've been with Clara for so long, right? through so many specials, through so many different things, that it just kind of felt nice to just have a special with just the Doctor, and yes, a new companion. But like I said, very hands-off. While I do want to know more about him, and I know that he's going to be around for Series 10, which is going to be nice, still, I was happy, right? He showed, like, when he was around, he was funny, he was weird, right? He himself was very different. And also, a he, right, which is also, not that, I'm trying to sit there and be like, we need more male companions, no women, boys only. No, right? But still, it's nice to have a male companion that even though he's wacky, the Doctor isn't shitting on him for it.
Right.
Because I feel like some of the companions or some of the people that not even travel with the Doctor, but just work with the Doctor in a certain episode, right? They might be wacky and different, or at least, dim-witted, if you will, and I'm sorry to use that word, but, let's be real here, quote-unquote dim-witted, but the Doctor doesn't shit on him for it, and I really like that. Because you look at Ninth Doctor, right? Look at number 9 with Mickey, and it's funny because I'm rewatching some of the earlier stuff, and at every single fucking chance. Yeah. I mean, granted, it got better, but it only got better once he realized, hey, he's capable. Like, he couldn't have been capable before? Shit. You know what I mean? So in this case, I like that, even though, yes, the thought is, oh, it's because you don't want to be alone. Yeah, we've established that. Okay, whatever. Oh, the Doctor's sad again. Yeah, okay, he's always sad apparently. In this era, apparently he's always fucking sad. But still, I enjoyed the fact that he brought along someone who could actually be funny, wacky, a little slow, but not sit there and make him the constant butt of the joke, like from the Doctor's perspective.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. So anyway, while I will probably rant a lot more about this, both good and bad, what do you think about this special?
I really enjoyed this special too. I love the jokes they have about, just superheroes in general. And like even the story crafted out of, how the Doctor just bumbles into this kid, Grant, on a Christmas Eve or Christmas night and accidentally gives him this super powerful gemstone that will like adhere to your wishes. And it's like, what was it? I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but it was just all-powerful gemstone and too many comic books, and it basically means you're a superhero.
Yeah, apparently. So the way I look at it like this, right? I think that we need to put the Doctor next to more kids. I feel like like kids. It's kind of funny because it's actually an old political move. But it actually works well in the case of the Doctor, too, for some odd reason. And it's the idea of put them next to a kid. They'll seem endearing. Like put them next to a kid, and, there's certain things that you do to just make yourself look better. And this is one of them, right? So it makes the Doctor look so sweet to have him stand next to this kid, even though they both fucked up royally. They still... he still looks great.
Now put the gemstone in. What gemstone? The one I handed you. I thought it was medicine. Why would you think that? Well, because you said you were a doctor and I had a cough and you gave me a glass of water and I thought it was medicine. What did you do with it? What do you think I did with it?
You know what's the best thing, by the way, about that? For once. No, because here's my thing, right? Someone could, I feel like someone might shit on him for that, like the kid, like, fucking kid. But when you click it that way, I'm like, wow, this kid is actually smart in a sense. Like, he's thinking outside the box, because we know everything about the show. We know everything about the Doctor. So we're like, we handed you a thing. Don't fucking eat it. He handed you that thing. Yeah. It's gonna need to be, used somehow or put into the system or whatever. So, but the kid is like, you said you were a doctor. I am coughing. You give me a glass of water and a little fucking cube thing. I thought they were going to go with, I thought it was candy. It was going to be like, kid. But no, it's like, literally all the signs went to, you gave me some weird red medicine.
Right.
You're a doctor who came to me in the middle of the night. Yeah, I'm thinking that, I'm thinking it's a fucking dwarf star.
And you're
Like, I
also
love
apparently Santa.
Right, I loved it. No,
hanging from the rooftop.
Can
you let me
myself.
in? I'll have to ask my mom first. Comes back, lets him in. You're expected. I'm expected. Yeah, old man, Christmas. Oh, Merry Christmas, Grant. I'm Santa. Yes, that's exactly who I am.
That made me, okay, so I'm going to explain to everyone why I pissed myself. I pissed myself because of the fact that you sit back and you're like, oh my God, that mom thinks that her kid's just being imaginative. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you have such a nice imagination, Grant. Little did, she know, he just fucking let in a random dude off the street
Yeah.
into their home.
Oh, man.
Like, super fucking lucky it's the doctor. Like, super fucking lucky.
Yeah, she would have lost her shit so hard if she actually realized you let someone in through the fucking window.
Oh, by the way, I love whenever we sit back and realize that the doctor doesn't have time for certain pop culture things. So, because he's kind of saving every galaxy every single fucking minute of the day. So,
Right.
He just sits there. He's just like, look at that. Did you know? Clark Kent.
And is Superman? Yeah, everyone knows that. Well, Lois Lane doesn't.
She's a reporter. No, but it's funny because I sit there and I'm like, fuck, every time they say that though, like every time a joke like that is made, I'm kind of like, yeah, she is a reporter though. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily like what happened in Man of Steel because while I want Lois Lane to be a great reporter, if she can do that, it feels like anyone can.
Right.
Like, in one movie, find out, wait a minute, Clark Kent equals Superman. It's like, well, fuck, I guess everyone fucking knows now. Not that she's a bad reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, when it comes to the point, like, in the olden, like, in the Golden Age comics, where it's just like, I'm married to Superman. Oh, hi, Clark. Fuck you, small dick. And it's just like, no, you don't get it, Lois. That's it. Lois, just take off his glasses. Literally just take off the glasses. It's kind of like, no, you don't get it. You don't. But it is kind of funny, though, that, of course, they took that trope and they just kind of, like, timed it by 100 in this special, where it was just the funniest thing, where literally the doctor's like, do you fucking understand who works for you? Yeah, Grant does. Yes. And where is Grant right now? Oh, God only knows. In this house, somewhere. Very small apartment, but he's somewhere here. Like, yeah, but that was really funny to me. I enjoyed that.
And when they're walking up the stairs, they're still talking about comics. I forget what it was they were talking about, but just
Spider-Man getting cancer, essentially.
Right, they were talking about Spider-Man, and he's like, why do they call Spider-Man Spider-Man? Well, he got his powers from a mutated spider, and it bit him. I should think that won't give you anything special. No, he can, like, shoot webs and everything. Yeah, usually if you bit, like, something... usually you get radiation poisoning. Does his powers include vomiting and...
hair loss.
Hair loss and death.
Oh, my God.
I laughed way too hard at that, but Carl's delivery was just too good.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed, I think this also is some of my favorite Peter Capaldi work because despite the loss, you know what it is, man? I understand that I even think a little bit that, like, the doctor should be brooding even more after something like this. But, of course, you could say that he's just trying to put on a brave face, which is okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, that's what he always does.
No, it's just kind of funny because it feels like, in a sick way, the doctor is just like, I could never lose Clara. I will literally take a shit on time and space for Clara. I will take a shit on it. And then it's like, oh, River Song's going to die. It's going to happen. Everything ends.
I mean, he gave her 24 years and a night. And
I know.
that,
No.
I really don't think River would give him, River would give him such shit. Like, if he tried to pull all that crap for her, he'd be like, sweetie, you know I love you, but if you ever fucking do that again, I will go back to murdering you.
Fair point. No, that is a great point. It's just a little. You're right though. 24 years. There was time to grieve. There was time to love. There was time to.
Yeah. But I mean, I get you. Like, it does kind of feel like a little awkward when you think about it that way. It's like, oh, Clara, I would end all of time and space for, but my wife, I mean, you know, shit happens. Like, no, but if you think of it too much that way, it's like, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm okay with a happy doctor, and that's the thing, because I want to have the doctor like this. I understand that he's going through his own personal demons. Shit happens, right? But I just feel like a lot of, maybe not this doctor specifically, but a lot of, it's funny, after the first series with Moffat and 11, actually maybe even after 2 series, eventually it just, everything started catching up with him, and it feels like it's just been this giant ball of sadness.
Yeah.
Not like every single episode, of course. I'm not going to do that, right? And say, oh, everything.
The universe just going to the doctor and giving him a giant middle finger wherever he goes. It's like, I've saved you more times than I can count. This is what I get? Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, but sad plot device. Oh, I remember the sad plot device of the Time Lords. To be fair, that's making fun of the Tennant line. I should be fair. But still, it's just it just feels
or even
like
it feels like he said in his one line, he's like, or Grant's like, oh, I always get a cold at Christmas. He's like, yeah, me too. I either get sick or an invasion.
That is, I mean, that was
I
funny.
can never have a nice Christmas.
Oh my goodness! But still, I do feel as if, you know, it's been rough. But the thing is, it's not just been rough on the doctor. It's been rough on us. And in a way, it feels as if they just keep giving him things to be sad about. Granted, this one made sense. It had to come eventually, you know, with River. But it still feels like constantly it's giving the doctor things to be sad about, in the same way that I eventually got mad and kind of fed up and gave up with Supernatural, because the show just kept on giving the brothers things to just be broody and mad and fight about. So after a while, it was like, okay, they're going to fight again over a fucking, you know, like over something so small and trivial, but it has to, you know, blow up and be something that we end up, you know, that we end up having them feud over for like a fucking season. So in this case, while this made sense, still I was happy to have some really great quips and just a lot of fun from the characters in general, and not have, even though it was horrifying, like literally a horror movie, when the CEO of the company got trapped in that room with those doctors that were literally removing his brain. That was scary as hell, right? But at the same time, I love that with the characters, again, it's just the doctor just shows up. Not only shows up eating sushi. Oh, I'm an intruder too. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm an intruder too. What?
Yeah,
I brought
don't
snacks.
worry. Yeah, just keep on watching.
God.
I'm like, what the fuck?
That was beautiful.
Just the entire special with the doctor was beautiful. And again, I get it, diversion. Literally, I can't remember his name, but the new companion. Literally,
Nardole.
he said, Nardole, thank you. Literally, Nardole said, like, oh, you know, he's like, oh, I'm trying to save a planet. And that's what you always do when the conversation's going to turn serious. And I was like, wow. Apparently, Nardole and him have been traveling for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, my fucking favorite thing, just got it wrong a little bit. Where's that from? Tibet. I forgot the year, but he was like, Tibet, I ruled fair, but wisely. I was like, what the fuck? Apparently he ruled Tibet for a bit.
Right. I took a bit of a sidetrack. Doing what? I love how he's completely unfazed by it too. The doctor just kind of looks at him and then continues onward.
Oh, the Pokemon Go reference. I was like, whoa, they just made a Pokemon Go reference. It was when they were in the Tokyo branch.
Right.
And it was, what's his name again? The new companion? Sorry, say the name again?
Nardole.
Thank you. Nardole, thank you. I have to get that in my head because I didn't really hear it much, if at all, mentioned in this special. Nardole. So he said, oh, it's pretty, empty or deserted or whatever because there wasn't anyone around. And it's funny because you can tell in the background as they're walking to the computer, people are, walking away past them with their phones in hand. Looking at their phones or just their phones in hand. And it was like, oh, it's pretty deserted here. And he goes, yeah, I just added a bunch of Pokemon, or I just gave away a bunch of Pokemon downstairs. And I was like, wait, what? So, literally, because he's the doctor, he can just cause a bunch of Pokemon to spawn downstairs. So everyone ran there.
Oh,
yes.
God. That's
hysterical. It was such a weird statement, though, because I was like, added Pokemon. Right, Pokemon Go. But he can't technically, I guess, say the whole name, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know. I was just like, what? Although, I have to admit, though, I know Pokemon Go is a thing in Japan, too, but I was like, I heard the elves in my head. That's racist. Because, that joke could have easily worked in New York as well. So,
yeah, true.
I'm just sitting there, and it's just like, we're in the Tokyo branch. Pokemon. That's racist. Just the little elves. Oh, my God. But still, so overall, I really enjoyed this special. I think the only thing that I'll say that I did, well, not the only, but the few things that I'll say that I disliked, and it's probably just like a native New Yorker thing, I guess, or it might be the fact that me specifically watching this after watching Series 1, but I'm really not a fan of the cinematic / muted colors that they've been doing for the last few seasons. And I only say that because, it just feels weird, they're in New York, but everything looks so dark and dreary, I guess. I know it's Christmas time, but it feels like they really made the colors, I don't know how to explain it, other than using the words muted or, quote-unquote, cinematic. Basically, it's just the concept of, I don't know how Grant's costume looked, but let's say his costume was bright green. When you change the colors in post, then it looks darker and kind of strips away the color. And I feel like they've been doing that a lot with Doctor Who recently, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I think just seeing this version of New York, maybe because of how they muted it or because of the shots that they took, but it was just very, very apparent that they weren't in New York.
Okay.
Okay, there's been some other times when they've tried to do New York. Right, where I think the first time it happened with Tennant, where I mentioned, it's funny, where we had Spider-Man appear, right, quote-unquote Spider-Man. Funnily enough, the joke is that it was, what's his name, not Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, who was in that actually. And it's funny because he played a Southern boy, so another British guy having to do an American accent in some form or another. But, so he did his accent, and this was obviously way before Spider-Man, and it looked like sets, right? I'll even admit, that didn't look the best. But when the Doctor and the rest of them traveled to, I guess, just the U.S. in general, and were jumping around a lot, it felt like they were in New York a little bit, with the hotel episode with the Weeping Angels.
Right.
Something. Also, I think they actually were in Central Park at one point, legit in Central Park.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if it was that specific episode, but I think in that series they were in Central Park. So I obviously felt like they were in New York because they were. But in this case, it felt very much like they were on different sets, and they weren't really in New York.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did film in New York, and I'm the asshole. But it never felt like they were in New York. I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
it's just, I don't know, but maybe it's because you and I are from New York, so you and I are just like, or me personally, I'm just like, I don't know, I don't trust it. Also, the American accents, not from Chatwin actually, because he's had to do one for a very long time now, either as, this character as Grant or as Goku, both with G's, by the way, so, it's confirmed. Goku is Grant, Grant is Goku. The ghost is Goku's. But by the way, if anyone doesn't remember, fucking Justin Chatwin was Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution, a movie that Tristan, for some odd reason, has refused to do on Friday Night Movies. I don't know why.
And
has refused.
As the audience will recall, I keep telling you, I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist.
Right, and he's also refused to do some kind of fun riff on it as well. It's as if the movie doesn't exist.
Because it doesn't.
Right. But yeah, so he was Goku, which is like, what? And that was very interesting, I think, just seeing him in this. And I think just kind of a reminder to you, because I've heard of him in other things doing well, but I feel like you haven't. So it's a reminder to you that he's not a bad actor. It's just sometimes, movies. Like sometimes movies, sometimes directors, sometimes other kinds of time constraints make that. And to be fair, I don't think I disliked Chatwin in Evolution either. I just disliked everything around it.
Right.
Like, out of everything in Evolution, I can't sit back and go, and that Justin Chatwin. No. He is like, you see what I mean, Tristan? Like, I can't think of, out of everything about the movie, I can't sit there and go, and look what he did to it. No. I'm not saying he was the best part of it, but just I can't think of him being part of the problem. So you look at him here and you're like, oh, wow, he's really good.
Yeah.
As an actor, he's a good actor. He has a good regionless accent. I never heard him break, which is nice.
Right.
Because he's British.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe people at home don't know that. He is not American. So he, like, his, accent didn't break. Still a bit too regionless for me, though, and what I mean by that is I think you'll notice this, Tristan, whenever there's an actor who is from another country trying to do an American accent, unless they're trying to be, like on The Walking Dead, or trying to be Southern, which they will do a random Southern accent, not so much to the region that they're supposed to be in, just like a random, like, I'm Southern. But here, when it comes to either, not New York, but like just other parts of the U.S., they'll just sound regionless. So you'll have like Hugh Laurie or like Hugh Jackman come off, and they'll just talk like this. Do you understand what I'm saying, Tristan Walter? They will sound as if they are from anywhere, but only in the United States. Not so much monotone, just regionless. Where, granted, I'm happy he didn't try to go for like a New York or anything like that, but he definitely sounded like he could have just been plopped anywhere, almost anywhere in the U.S. And it was just like, we'll use New York as the setting because it's not a capital city, which felt kind of rude. A little bit.
It's not so.
I know, like, it's true, but, like, it felt kind of rude. Like, they're not a capital city, so we'll blow them up. I'm sorry, man, but, like, it's not our fault that we're not a capital city. Don't blow us up. Like, that's all I'm saying. Jeez.
I mean, considering all the times that, Doctor Who has always, like, had London have some kind of cataclysmic explosion, I guess they're finally like, you know what? Let's have another city have it this time for once. Just give London a break this Christmas. Let's just have them have a nice Christmas.
You know what it is, man? Like, I have no problem with like alien invasion or like things exploding, but like it felt weird. I don't know, man. Like, maybe I'm just looking too much into this. Maybe I'm looking into it wrong. I want to move. I want to have things be very light and fun, but like it was just creepy and awkward to me for it to be like, oh yeah, something's gonna crash into New York and destroy it, and I was like, All
right, yeah.
Could we not? You know what I mean? Like, after what, I know it's been years, but, like, after what happened, like, it's just kind of like, I know, like, they probably weren't thinking of it that way, or they weren't trying to do anything that way, but, like, it's like, you literally could have had it just be a beam of light that he deflected, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe budget-wise, it was a lot easier for it to be some bomb. Well, technically it was a bomb, not the whole ship, technically.
Right.
But still, like, it was weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like, I was just kind of like, I know it wasn't like a year after. It's been, like, 16,
I mean, I get what you
15
mean.
Years. But yeah, it was weird, man. Like, I was kind of like, because it was like, oh no, it's gonna crash, and I was like, I knew it wasn't actually gonna shore in New York, duh. But still, I was like,
I mean, I feel like I feel like it's just like how I said earlier. It's like, I mean, they've done that with London now so many times too, and London has had its,
well, no, but it hasn't
as well. So.
Hasn't had, like, well, no, but like nothing ever crashed into Big Ben.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a UFO did in Doctor Who, but like nothing. I don't believe anything has ever crashed into Big Ben. I don't think anyway.
Right.
If so, then whoops. Like, I can understand whether there be some controversy there too. But yeah, no, I haven't heard any controversy about that from this. It's just something that, as a native New Yorker, kind of made me go, oh, well.
Right.
Not that it took away from the special. I don't want to say that's one of the negatives. It just threw me off. That's all I'll say.
Right.
A negative, like I said, speaking of New Yorkers or New York things, is about the I'll find the actress's name, but her New York accent was really bad.
Oh, the reporter?
Now, yeah. Now, it wasn't always bad. The problem is, it's just that she had a very hard time with certain words where, not that she was trying to make it seem all New York, right? Not like she was trying to do that necessarily, but she was trying to do certain things where, like, like, it would be like, oh, God, like, imagine if it was like, I'm going to go over there, right? She would try to be like, oh, I'm going to go over there. Like, she's, in her head, she's like trying not to say there, but it becomes some weird mix where, like, I can't think of any off the top of my head, sadly, but if you guys want to go watch the special again, you'll notice certain moments where either, she had a hard time focusing on which way you should pronounce something, either the British way or the American way, or she would just be speaking so fast that it would be like, wait, why are you trying to get it all out that quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was awkward because I don't think she's a bad actress. I don't know her from anything else, but I don't want to say that she's a bad actress. It's just, it is sometimes hard for actors from other countries or actors from other countries just to come over here and try to do a quote-unquote American accent. It doesn't always work, right? And it's rough, right? Or, again, like I said, sometimes people just sound a little bit bland. And in some cases, she either sounded too bland or she sounded like she was trying too hard to suppress an accent that you can kind of hear it in a weird way.
Right.
And it was rough. That's what I'll say. Not that she was terrible, right? It's just that it was rough at times. Kudos to the baby. That was a good baby.
Yeah.
It was. Didn't do any harm. I'm sure it appeared on set, right? As far as I know, it did not have a drug problem. So I'm sure it was great on set. It was just a cute baby, and it did its job of being a baby. Probably has a twin brother or sister or something that they use as a body double, but because that usually happens on sets, funnily enough. That's why on Full House you had both Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Right.
Because it's like if one of them is acting up, you just swap in with the other one. Oh, I believe actually that was also the case with Little Tiny River when Amy first gave birth.
Right. Yeah.
I believe they actually had twins playing that role of the baby. I believe. Also, Karen Gillan was so scared of dropping her, or just the baby. Yeah, no, it's literally because think about it. Mom is on set, like, here's my baby,
I'd be terrified.
and she's like, she's like,
I believe your child accidentally, in any way, shape, or form,
in front of witnesses.
Yeah.
Like, literally an entire set, just dropped the baby. Like, oh. But yeah, so I think it was a cute baby. I really enjoyed. What was interesting about the? I think the one thing I didn't like either, it was with Grant. There was this weird mix of like. At least I think it's mostly based on how Justin Chatwin looks, where I'm like, damn, like, are you a super duper nerd? Like, they try to paint you up as a nerd, but you're actually really like good looking, and we're supposed to feel like, at least like watching at home, we're like, fuck you guys for trying to make him look like a nerd. Or is he a true looking full on nerd? So it's a really weird mix. You know what I mean, Tristan? Where like sometimes it's like, oh hey, I'm a super nerd. Fuck you. You put glasses on Brad Pitt. Shut the fuck up. Right? But then, you know what I mean, though, right? Like, hi, I'm a nerd. You put glasses on John Stamos. Shut the fuck up, right? Or like, they're full-on, like, oh, you can imagine this guy being a nerd in that situation. And I feel like Chatwin, like, straddles that very easily, like, either side. Like, it's so interesting. So I don't know if I dislike it or if I like it. I'm in the middle. I'm mixed. How do you feel about that, Tristan?
I mean, I don't know. It was weird. He kind of gave me the Tobey Maguire kind of vibe in, like, Spider-Man. Like, at one moment it would be, like you said, he just kind of feel like an average guy, or just average looking. And then it would be just either the right light or whatever, and it would be like, not average guy level here. Not working on average level material here.
Yeah, right. So I think the point is, are we letting Justin Chatwin into our tree fort? I just really need to know if he's allowed to come in.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy that we're including Justin Chatwin into our. We don't even have a tree fort. We live in New York. What are trees? But
hey,
I'm kidding. You're on Long Island.
Where I am. It's you.
Yeah, you're on Long Island. You got trees. Me, concrete jungle. But anyway, it's just the reason why I say this is because, like, I don't know how to feel about Grant's character because, like, I don't know if they were trying to go with, oh, this is something you guys can relate to because you're nerds, or if they were trying to go with, no, he's worse than you. Because, like, I'm not, like, look, I'm in the doctor's camp, right, where doctors like, I found someone worse than me at this, right?
Right, yeah.
But I could never imagine working for someone that I am interested in romantically. Not that that's the problem, but then calling her, Mrs. or Miss Fletcher or Mrs. Fletcher. And again, that's not the problem. Right? I'm not saying you can't, work under someone that you're interested in, male or female, right? But the problem is like as a nanny, and again, like the nanny, it's not a problem being a nanny, right?
Yeah.
It's being a male nanny. Like I don't think that's a problem.
And yes, he's a male nanny. It's like, is there a problem with that? No. It's like, no, there isn't. No, I never said there was. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just because sometimes guys like you don't understand that it takes, a great person to be able to be a guy and be a nanny. It's like, I think you're being slightly presumptuous in that statement, but we're going to move on.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Again, it's, you know what it is? It's not any of that stuff separately. And even when you combine all that stuff that I said, it's not bad. I think the problem is that, again, it makes him a great guy, but, like, in a way, like, in real life, this would never happen, I guess, in my head, because it's like, he's looking after, apparently, his best friend's kid.
Yeah, that was, like, I mean, no, like, definitely, like, kudos to him for doing that and, like, still helping her and everything, but just the idea of it, like, how does that not fuck with
Yeah.
his mind? I can't wrap my head around that.
And it's interesting too, because I don't know if I would like him more if the dad died or if he's an asshole and leaves, because either way it makes, I don't know, like, I feel like in this case, I guess their thought is, no, make the guy a douchebag, and then she'll realize that, oh, I've loved you all along. But it's kind of like, I don't know, like, I hate to say this, but it comes off awkward because it's like, no, but you two have been friends. This has been or at least working for you, so you pay him. So, like,
right.
It feels weird that, I don't know, like, it's something that is one of those, like, oh, it only happens in the movies because there's no awkward other kind of ramifications, or like, but at the same time it's something very old. Like, in a way, I can't believe this plot in that regard happened in 2016.
Right. Yeah.
And I know it should be like, no, but it's a standard romance. No, but the thing is that, like, he comes off as, like, the reason why I said, like, oh, he's worse, because he just, in a way, comes off as one of those stereotypical, like, nice guys. Not a good person, but a nice guy. Where it's like, oh, why are you friends with them? Well, one day they're going to leave the person they're with, and then they'll fall into my arms. And it's like, oh. Like, in a way, like, making his best friend, quote unquote, or making this, you know, the guy that she's with, same guy, but still, the bad guy, makes him, I guess, a de facto good guy. Well, you know, he left her with the kid, so I can come in and be great. It's like, you swoop in when she's vulnerable? Now, I know it's been a while since that happened, and he didn't make any moves on it. But still, like, it doesn't, like, in the real world, it doesn't work that way because it comes off poorly.
Right.
You know, like, that's just my take on it.
I want to say that it's not like he just swooped in. It's like, oh, here, let me help you with that child. I feel like he's kind of always been there. Like, just as, like, you know, his best, like, obviously, it's like, oh, yeah, my best friend married you. It's like, yeah, you know, I want to know your kid. It's like, he's kind of like the friend of the family that the kid grows up to be like, oh, it's Uncle Grant, you know, that kind of thing. And then,
well, to be fair,
his best friend left, and he's like, oh.
Well, it seems like he got her pregnant and then left. But apparently they got married? So, like, they got married.
I think so, yeah.
Then had a kid. And then and then I guess he had
other
cold
way
feet
around.
And then bounced.
Who knows? Right.
Well, no, I mean, he said that's her married name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's so strange, man, because, like, again, I feel like in movie land.
Yeah, I feel like one other point is that maybe he felt guilty because it's like, that was my friend that then did this to you. So it's like, in an odd way, it's like, I feel like I have to help you. And I don't know.
I think that could work if he had said it out loud.
Yeah.
But I think they've tried to make it tighter, like the narrative, and be like, no, it's because he loves her, and he's loved her ever since they were in high school together. And it's like, cool, but, like, that's weird. Not that you can't, you know, marry a high school sweetheart or date a high school sweetheart, or even someone who didn't like you in high school and then they change. That's all cool.
Yeah.
That's all fine and dandy. It's just in the real world, it wouldn't work like this, most likely because she wouldn't be into him, because she would be like, we are good friends. And it's like, that's not a problem. That's not like, you know, because some people be like, oh, you know, friend zoned. Like, no, friends exist, right? Like, friends exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have female friends, we have male friends. Like, we don't have to sit there and be like, every single one. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, what do you, no, like, you have friends. So that's why it's just, you know, it comes off as a little awkward. And I know how we're supposed to look at it. And by the way, I'm not saying that Grant is an evil guy. Like, I'm not sitting here like he's the real supervillain. But it's one of those things where I feel like people don't realize when they do something like that in the real world, right?
Yeah.
It comes off as creepy and weird because it's kind of just like, yeah, you know, like, again, even the doctor said it out loud. Oh, so you thought you'd swoop in? It's just like, doctor, that's not good. It's not, like, you know, it's not supposed to work like that.
Right.
And again, like, although look, if here's the thing too, by the way, I understand people can be socially awkward and not really be able to like like say what they really feel and what they really want, and I get that. I'm not saying that that we should belittle people for that, right? But I think if as a human being, if he was real, first off, holy shit, he'd have superpowers. But if he was real, if he had asked her this earlier, like, or had asked her like out earlier, and then maybe was rejected or it worked, I think I would have been okay with it. I know that some people would still say no, but she's vulnerable, he shouldn't do it. But it's asking her out. But the idea of it all being in his head, like if he didn't have superpowers, it would be creepy as fuck. Like no, seriously. Like if he wasn't a superhero on the side, it'd be like, so you're a nanny for the girl that you like, whose kid is your best friend's, when he ran out on her, and you're doing this because you love her, but you haven't told her. Like either it's a sitcom or it's creepy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
You could argue that a lot of sitcoms have their creepy moments too. So I don't know.
Literally,
in my opinion, it kind of feels like, I guess it's weird if you think about it, but it feels like he does genuinely care for this child, and that it's like...
Oh, no, you misunderstand.
So
it
feels like he's not doing it for just the reason of, I'm going to take care of the kid, so she falls for me, and then after that, I won't give a fuck. It's like, no, he still does.
Okay.
So it doesn't feel as, like, I don't know, odd to me in a sense.
I'm not saying it can't be both, by the way. Like, I'm not saying he sits there and he's just like, I'm not saying if she's like, I don't love you, well, I'm going to drop the kid off a roof, whatever. Like, or if the kid falls off a roof, I'm not going to save her. Only person in New York I won't save. Like, I'm not, thinking that he's, like, apathetic towards the kid, but it can be both, right? I'm just saying that, like, in real life, behavior like his would not be, like, put to, like, romantic music, right? Or superhero action music. It would just be considered a little bit, if not mostly, creepy. Very much like the whole, like, nice guy, like really nice guy when you're doing this. But but again, right? It's movie land. We're supposed to turn our brains off, and in no way does it make him not a nice person on the outside, and even on the inside. It's just stuff that people don't realize. There's a lot of stuff in the world that people don't realize. Like, wait, that's a problem? It's like, yeah. Oh, okay. Right, I should probably not do that then, right? So I'm not saying he's scheming and he's maniacal, right? I just think that he doesn't really get that, like, that's not the best way to go about things. But anyway, what is the best way to go about things is just coming in, right, through a window and choking a guy.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do when you're a superhero, man. You got to break through a window.
We're on, like, the 137th floor. Who's knocking on the window?
Yeah, I know. I love that, too, because I heard the knocking, and I was like, it's at the window because he can fly. Yeah.
And I love even the doctor, like the guy, the brain inside the human now, has them at gunpoint. It's like, normally I would just call security, but I can't run the risk of letting you live. It's like, I'll have to frame it. I shot you all in self-defense. It's like, you really can't talk to the doctor. You really just gotta, like, if you want him out of the way, you gotta just shoot him. Because otherwise, he starts talking. And when he starts talking, or you talk to him, he figures shit out. And he's like, all right, try and claim self-defense when you shoot us in the back. Huh? Yeah, eat that.
And it's funny, because, while they're still, like, okay, it's very interesting, because you would think that it's just like, I'll just shoot the three of you. Replace your brains, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's kind of interesting that he was going to go for the murder first, ask questions later option, I guess. But, I mean, they have enough. It's still interesting, though, because they have enough money as a corporation that I guess shooting them in the front would have been okay. But from behind, it's like, fuck, we can't hide the body. People hear the gunshots. So much shit going down. We don't want to deal with any of this, even though we could replace the brains of police officers. But it just doesn't make any sense because we need the brains for, like, politicians and world leaders. Fuck it. We'll just, like, you know, I'm now, like, we are now at a standstill.
Right.
I guess that's the whole thought. But it still was such a good, like, such an interesting thought because from the doctor, it's like, oh,
yeah.
You're going to say self-defense. How can you claim that when we are all turned around? And I was like, God damn, that's good. No, it is because, like, if police have to get involved for some reason, and that can hinder you or hurt you, whether or not you're human or not. I don't know, in real life, whether or not you're human or not.
And I love the fact
you're an alien.
Like, he still goes along with the idea. It's like, well, there's still a 50-50 chance he's going to shoot us. And he's like, we'll be laughing all the way to the slab. And I'm like, well, I mean, doctor, you won't because you'll just fucking regenerate, but whatever.
Depends on where he shoots him.
That's true.
Though that was my first thought, though. It's just shoots the doctor. I'm regenerating right now. Everyone's like, are you fucking serious? We get like a really cool, fun Capaldi for like 20 minutes. Not that we haven't had a fun Capaldi at other points, but we have like a really nice Capaldi here, and he just gets shot and has to regenerate. How fucking terrible would that be?
Oh man.
Would you cry as much as I would? I would cry.
Oh yeah, no, that would be worse Christmas special. The doctor dies.
Yeah.
And he regenerates, but still, like, the Christmas special? Really? Shit.
It would be even funnier if he got shot and he just has to live with it throughout the episode and then regenerates at the end. At that last moment when he's sad, staring off, like thinking about River, he regenerates. And it's like, was this Christmas? Doctor got shot and had to deal with the wounds for the rest of the episode.
Oh, shit.
Is this Christmas? But, yeah, I was gonna say something I didn't enjoy because I was gonna gush, but I'm like, wait, no, let's stick to something I didn't enjoy because I gush far too much. I didn't like the special effects. I thought they were like, I hate to say it, right? I'm someone who really tries to, have my suspension of disbelief, but there was just something about the superhero effects that I kind of sat back and I thought, guys, you really have to step up your game. Not so much that they should, go too far, like, out. But I feel like they sat back and they were like, let's give him super speed. I'm like, guys, he doesn't need to use it. Let's just have him walk over and choke a dude. Like, it doesn't look good. That's just my take on it. Like, it doesn't look good.
I feel like that could have boiled down to it might have been they did it on purpose to kind of poke fun at like superhero movie effects, or it might have just been budgetary. Like,
I think it was budgetary. Like, not all of the green screen stuff was bad. Actually, most of it was as decent as you can get. Like, just him flying in the air in general. I actually like the green screen stuff. It's just that when it came to him, I think when he busted through the window, I was like, no. And when he busted through the window, and when he like tried to move super duper fast, like just I think when he was trying to choke the guy out, I was like, oh no, thank you. Like I was like, you guys could have not. Also, I think their quick cuts were very interesting, where like they would have him float down, but then immediately cut to him on the ground. I sat there and I was like, oh, so that's the budget. Not in a bad way, but it was just the cuts were very interesting. Like they tried to do a very low budget superhero thing, and I was like, oh, okay, like I respect it. One thing that I was shocked about is apparently Grant still has the powers with him, even at the end.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny though because when they kiss, right, the two of them, and the fact they're even together at all, I'm like, oh God, the stone is giving him what he wanted, but like not in like a fun like Santa Claus-y kind of way, although in a way it kind of is a gift like that on Christmas, but not in like and it was a red stone, but not like in a fun Santa Claus-y kind of way, more like in like a magical potion against someone's will kind of way, like, oh, he got what he wanted all along, even without the stone. No, but the stone gives him everything he wants. Oh, God! What is that stone doing to that poor woman?
Oh, God. Even with the aliens making the joke, or the brain people, we want him for the same reason you do, miss, for his body. It's like, oh, shit. I feel like at the end, I don't know, I don't think that was all it was. Like, she actually does realize that, yeah, that he's actually been really cool. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I'm mostly being an asshole, but there's a little tiny hint of me though that's like, maybe, but it's mostly me being an asshole. Don't worry. That was a joke ? But still, what I find interesting, I think, is that he still has the powers, and I really have to stress that really hard because I thought it was going to be like, Grant, now that you have her, you have everything you ever wanted. You don't need the powers. But keeping him with the powers, I don't think they'd get him again because he's Justin Chatwin, right? You know it too. Like, even though he's not doing movies anymore, he's still doing other TV shows, I believe. So I don't know if they'd get him personally, but I do wonder why they kept the powers. Like, I wonder if they want to like
I feel like
expand
it was
into
the idea,
like comic books.
Possibly. That would be actually really cool to have a comic with him and 12. But I feel like it was just he says, "Oh, I'm hanging up the suit because I want to live my normal life. I want to be with you and the kid, and like that's my life. I'm happy with that." But he even says, it's like she even says to him, "Well, what if the world needs you again?" He's like, "All right, well, fair point. I'll keep it tucked away. Like if I'm needed, then of course I'll be there. Like I'll save New York. Shit, I'll save the world if I have to," which he pretty much did. So. But the doctor comes at him like, "Nah, you know what, dude? It was my bad that you got the stone in the first place. Like I'll take it. Like I've been away for a while. I'm back. I'll handle the shit that comes to Earth. Don't you worry. You go live your life."
Yeah, there's a few things that confused me about that statement alone, but I'll just take just one thing I wanted to say, 1 second, was the reason why I wanted him to lose the powers, though, is because it just feels weird to leave something like that out in the world, like with a Shielda, Like, it just feels weird to just leave a superhero in New York and never reference him again. Because you and I both know that he's, as much as Doctor Who doesn't have, like, filler, because it's, its own show and everything, he's a filler character. We're never seeing from him again.
Yeah.
Like, believe me, if we get him at any point in the next, years until Justin Chatwin dies, right, I'm cool. I'm cool with, like, more appearances of this character. I just don't think it's going to be like Craig, where we're actually going to get, seeing him with the kid, like, well, first off, Craig didn't have the kid the first time.
For a few episodes.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get more of Craig. Yeah, well, we might get, it's funny. We won't get more of Craig because he's, the actual actor is on television now doing the Late Show, or the Late Show. Anyway, so yeah, we're not going to see him on. But still, my point is that I don't think we're going to see Justin Chatwin as Grant anymore. I assume maybe they kept it open, like I said earlier, for comics or maybe for, audio adventures or something like that. But
that too, yeah.
That would be nice, right? Because I think they could get him for that. But I don't think they'll bring him back for Doctor Who. And it sucks because I would want him back. But I highly doubt it, right? So that's why I think you would take away the powers. Because, again, it just feels awkward when you have, like, if you expand it, like when you have like a Shielda running around the galaxy or the universe with, with Clara. While it feels weird that they're never going to meet again, like meet the Doctor again, or there's not going to be any spin-offs and stuff like that, it feels weird to me, right? But hey, like I said, comic books or audio adventures, right? Feels weird, but whatever. But that's an entire galaxy, entire universe. When you have a dude in New York with superpowers, it's just weird for any calamity, and it's Doctor Who, we're going to get some calamities, right?
Yeah.
It's weird that he'll never show up again. That's just my take on it. I don't think he'll ever show up again. So, that throws me off, right? So that's why I'm kind of happy when we usually, at least in my opinion, kind of close off those little gaps, right? By saying, oh, you lost your powers, but it's okay because now you have the wife and kid and you're happy, right? Like that's what you wanted all along. So you don't need the powers anymore. So that's why it's not giving you any more powers. Like it's in your body, but it's not giving you anything else because you already have everything you want. Cue an audience going, aw, right?
Right.
And that would have been nice. But the fact that he was like, nah, I'll just hang it up if I, in general. Like, I don't know, maybe Chatwin wants to do more Doctor Who, right? That would be really nice. I would enjoy that. But I don't think it's going to happen. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really don't think we'll see Grant, his character again. But I don't know. I guess it's more for an episode. Like it's just for you to enjoy the open end. Like, yeah, he's still there. Like he'll if the Doctor called him up the next day and be like, look, Grant, I know I told you that you could just go live your life, but I 1 second, I just need you, and he's already in the TARDIS. Like, what do you need? I don't know. It's nice for me to just think about it that way,
I know. No, I'm not saying it's. You're right. It is a good thought, I think, to kind of leave Christmas on, I guess. But I mean, it can go either way. But I think it is a nice thought. You're right. What I don't like, though, because I mentioned, because you mentioned the 24 years thing and all that stuff. Obviously, the Doctor was gone for 24 years. I get it. But I really dislike this idea. And it's a narrative they just keep on pushing, and I keep on disliking it, and I keep on keeping on, man. Like, just keep on going against it, no matter what. This idea that if the Doctor isn't somewhere, he will never be there. And, I probably worded it wrong. I probably sound way too much like, whoa, man, did you know that if the Doctor's not somewhere, then he isn't there? But what I'm trying to say is the idea that, I've been gone from the Earth for 24 years. No, you haven't, Doctor. There's God knows how many of you, millions of you, constantly traveling around, saving worlds. You're telling me that for 24 years the Earth was like, guess we have to make do without the Doctor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I must sound like an asshole to constantly bring it up, but literally 12. Oh, I'm sorry, I was gone from the Earth for 24 years. Literally, dude, 13 through 15 just saved the Earth 7 times. Separately and once all together. Don't worry. 13, 14, and 15, got it. You're good.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? For 24 years I was gone. Yes, because you're the only Doctor that exists. No. Every other Doctor exists at every single point in space and time, always. I know it's trippy, and it makes things weird, right? And history is constantly changing, and our life is, the universe is constantly changing with all the things the Doctor does and then undoes. We talked about this before. It's basically a curse, a really bad loop, right? Where places that the Doctor has saved before are probably the same ones that he's saving again, because he saved something in one way in one year and then saved it another way in another year, and both negated each other and some weird shit like that, right? But I'm just talking about the fact that, him saying...
It felt like 9 with Earth. All the times he went up to Satellite 5, and it's it's changed since the last time I was here. Wait,
right.
Still isn't right. What the fuck?
Exactly, yes. So,
I mean, that was
right.
the Daleks, too, but, still.
No, but still, you are absolutely correct, right? So it's just, the fact that... him being I've been gone for 24 years, and that's clearly why the Earth needed you. It's no, Grant was only doing New York. What the fuck else was happening elsewhere, Doctor? No, nothing was. Because he's been gone, but it's not like every single Doctor has.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's always weird to me when they push that narrative. But then, right, you have Moffat in interviews say stuff like, oh, you know, the doctor, because he's done so much, because he's, you know, like, everywhere at once in a way, he could have walked over his own grave and he wouldn't even have known it. This was around the time the quote-unquote doctor died, right? Moffat gave that interview, and it was like, oh, that's such a good interview, because it's true. The doctor could walk over his own grave and he'd never know, because, you know, he is he does so many things as every single doctor that he'll never know, right, until it's his grave. So I hear that interview and I hear that concept, and I'm like, yeah, the doctor is technically everywhere at once. He is Santa. But then the doctor says that, and I'm like, no. Like, the Earth wasn't, like, the Earth's fine. Just because you were gone for 24 years doesn't mean that there was no one protecting the Earth. And now, apparently, even though I like the thought that the doctor will be on Earth more, right, instead of in some space station. Not that those are a problem, and I saw in the preview for this series, Series 10, that there was clearly going to be space stations. But I'm cool with him being on modern-day Earth for a bit, you know, for a bit longer. But still, right, it's just kind of weird. It's just like, I'm back on Earth now, don't worry about it. It's like, okay, right? But also, I thought it was very interesting, half cute, half funny, half just generally weird. The toy, the squeezy toy.
Oh God, yeah, that thing was a nightmare.
Right? I think that was the point of it, to be a nightmare.
Yeah, no,
but
it even perturbed the doctor enough to be like, please stop that. And
yeah,
he's seen a lot of shit. So the fact that this the fucking squeaky toy is like that kind of like nails on a chalkboard kind of bit. It's like, please stop doing that.
Yes. Oh, I loved. I loved.
Do you
how,
interview everyone like this?
Yeah, but I loved how even though she, and by she I'm referring to the reporter, I can't remember her name again. Sadly, Lucy, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. She. I love how, you know, even though she has some issues figuring out who Grant really is, right? Just some issues here and there. Still, though, when it comes to the doctor, she's just like, she's a good reporter. It's just that Grant apparently is so good at hiding his secret identity. Like, I guess maybe because he's just that nerdy and real, like, in their universe, that she's like, it can't be him. But I just love it. Every little thing. Like, the doctor seems a little nervous when being talked to kind of like harshly by her, and she's like, you don't work with an agency. Because if you had a
you're
boss,
not used to being you don't have a boss. You're not used to being talked to like this. He's just like, oh crap, she's getting too close to the mark.
Yeah, right? Do humans regenerate? No, doctor. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do to her if she could, doctor? Don't worry about it. But still,
like, you know who the ghost is.
It's like,
yeah, but you're very clever. Why do I have to tell you?
Yeah. But still, though, but no, the reason why I say this is because, like, she only got, not only did she get that, but then later on, it's like, what was her name? And I'm like, ooh, damn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I suppose, like, people who, like, with her job, it's like she's very good at reading people. And to be fair, that's one of the things that's just written all over the doctor's face, if you know just where to poke. So.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that that's a problem that she got it. I'm just saying, like, damn, like, that hit home.
Oh, yeah. No, you definitely felt that as she said it. Because even 12's face is just like, I wasn't ready for that question.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is, so I'm talking about this not from a show perspective, just I guess from a fan perspective, because I'm, you know, obviously, I think I've told everyone this before, and if you're new to the show, first off, hi, nice to see you, or nice to hear you, or then again, you're hearing me. Nice to have you listening. But still, to any of you that aren't new and might remember, I always try to watch something right before the podcast, so I try not to watch it 2, 3, 4 times. So this is my first time watching this. I've never seen this special before. So for me, it actually, in a way, isn't – I mean, it's a long time since I've seen newer Who, because everything else that I've seen thus far to do on the show has been a rehash, right? Like, since we started doing Doctor Who Wednesdays again, it's just been me rewatching it, and then, of course, you rewatching it as well, and then us doing the podcasts. This is completely new to me. So in a way, it's like, oh, I haven't seen new Who in a while. But I've been watching Who in general, so there isn't like a big gap. Now, for you, when you first saw this, there was a year gap because there was no Doctor Who from Christmas to Christmas. And in a way, I don't even think we were assured Doctor Who for the summer. I think there was talk. Maybe Moffat said yes, but I don't believe we were assured that Doctor Who was coming back in the summer. My question to you is, like, it was going to be in the summer or in the fall. Obviously, it is the summer right now, and Doctor Who Series 10 is out, and we'll be talking about it next week. But my question to you is, Tristan, is, like, how did it feel for you? Not just, I know you liked it in general, the special, but how did it feel to get new Doctor Who and have that year-long wait and then be able to see this Christmas special?
I mean, I felt very kind of relieved in a way that it did come back, and I was happy for it. Like, this special being, the door back into Doctor Who, I wasn't disappointed and I wasn't angry or anything like that. I was like, no, this was fun. It was weird at first. I'll readily admit that. I was like, we're going superheroes? All right. But then as it played out, I'm like, nah, this is Doctor Who's take on a superhero. It's like, nah, we're still in Doctor Who right now. So
that's actually a very good point. Actually, it's a very good point, and I'm super happy you brought that up, like more happy than you know, because, I heard that it was about superheroes, I think either from the episode description or from someone spoiling it for me. No other things in the episode being spoiled, just the whole superhero thing. Also, me seeing this actor, the one who played Nardole? Nardole, thank you. I was like, in my head, I heard Nardswall, and it was like, goodbye, Mr. Norwald, goodbye, buddy.
Oh, my
God. So I was like, no. I was like, that's not what it is. But yeah, Nardswall. So seeing his actor return, because I have seen some promo work for Series 10 with him in it, and then this, I think I saw this well, I didn't see any promo work with this, but when I saw the episode, I was like, oh, his face. So I was sitting there like, did we get a new actor, or did we just literally stick his head back on? Because it seemed like a death, but it's the Doctor, so he didn't really die. So he could have.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. Like, when I saw him return, I was like, wait, weren't you ahead in, King Hydroflax's body in the last special? It's like, yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool because I rebuilt him. And it was funny, like, even Nardole kind of looked at him, he's like, you rebuilt me because you were afraid you were going to be lonely. You needed someone to travel with. That's why I'm here. And he's like, oh, shit. It's like, yeah, you're right. That's why you are here. Goddamn.
By the way, I was like,
funny. He seems okay with that. He's like, I mean, I have a body again, and I get to travel. It's not really so bad.
It's very interesting because I mentioned earlier, like way earlier, he's dim-witted. I don't want to write him off and say that he isn't smart. It's just like, it's a very interesting take on the character where, like, he sits there, he's like, you wanted me here because you didn't want me to be alone. And it's like, that's a very good insight. Yes. Now, I don't care about it because I get to play with an elephant, like a toy elephant, But, so it's a very interesting, he's a very interesting character. Like, in some ways, very childlike, very slow, but he isn't, like, it's not that he's dumb or that he's like, I'm just gonna, do hopscotch. I don't even know what's going on here. Did I get shot? I'm dead. Right? Like, he isn't stupid, but at the same time, there's something, like, there are certain aspects that he's definitely used for comic relief and definitely used as a guy that you're that silly guy, right? He doesn't know what he's doing. That's a silly guy. But at the same time, he understands the Doctor. It's weird that he said, the Doctor, I've been gone for 24 years. Maybe because in the 24 years, the two of them got to know each other, but it feels like they know each other very well, or as he knows the Doctor.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot better than he should.
he must have been working with River for a bit, at least, or at least River kept Nardole around long enough for him to kind of pick up some things. Because in an odd way, he feels like Nardole feels like the Doctor's kind of like, I don't know, last connection to River, since she's gone now, but like, and that River is kind of imparted onto Nardole, like, yeah, you kind of need to, like, make sure he doesn't lose his fucking mind. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Like, just as a favor between friends, like, can you do that for me? Can you just keep an eye on him?
No, that's a very good point. That's actually a very, very good point. I definitely see that in his character. So it's a very interesting tie, but like a tie-in or like just like a bond that the two have. But no, I was just trying to say earlier that I didn't know much about this going in other than the superhero aspect, so like a little bit. But yeah, for you, it's actually really funny because I just imagine you just like sitting down and being like, "What am I going to get this Christmas?" And then it's like, a superhero? Wait, what?
Yeah.
But like I said though, it's the different thing that we needed. Not because it was a superhero and I like superheroes. In fact, I actually could have done without it in that way. Right? Like, I don't even think we needed the superhero plot necessarily. It's just we needed something vastly different. And I think it's so strange to think about this being written by Stephen Moffat, because no offense to him, but there's just like, I haven't really agreed with a lot of what he's done with these past two Doctors, with his time on Doctor Who, and specifically with some of the companions. But it's not like he can't write a funny episode. I mean, but despite what I said about Husbands of River Song, it was fucking hilarious.
Right.
And him doing this was
fucking amazing. That feels like every Christmas special, like even like I said with the Husbands of River Song too, like I felt like the one-liners were just completely on point. And I feel like even more so in this one.
Yes. No, that's the thing. Like, I feel like as much as myself, you, but more specifically, the fan base, right? Despite what's said about Moffat, I really want to stress how I think he's really good at writing comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really and I think that I don't know how I'm going to feel about Series 10. I know nothing about it other than who the companion is going to be, and apparently she's a chef. But other than that, I feel like I'm going to like this series. I feel like it's going to be different. It's going to be new. And honestly, that's all I've really been asking for. Just feeling new, like fresh and different. And I feel like with 2.5 seasons or series of Amy and Rory, and then 2.5, like 2 plus, I think it was 2.5. 2.5 like plus, series with Clara, and then those specials, man. With all of that, I'm just happy that the Doctor is able to move on and do something different with his lives, right? His regenerations. And we're able to see something new and fresh because, even though I, said what I disliked about the special effects and what they did with New York and, some of the accents, still, it was superheroes, it was new companion, and a companion that didn't even get involved as much, strangely. So we got to focus on Grant and on Miss Fletcher, and specifically on the baby. Such a cute baby. I was really happy about this episode. Also, this really weird alien race. Yeah. And I say weird because, which, by the way, might be returning in Series 10. Let's not forget that they went into one of the unit members' bodies.
Right, yeah. Oh, that was... They, I forget the actual... Harmony something. That was the company name they were using. I don't know if that was the actual name of the alien species, but, I thought they were such a cool idea to use as, the big bad villain of a superhero comic or a Doctor Who superhero comic. It's, brains that hijack human, other beings' bodies. I'm like, yes, I am completely on board with this. Because
sounds
the
like
one scene before you actually see, like, oh yeah, it's brains with eyes that are taking over, other people's bodies. When the guy is just dabbing his nose, and it's just this blue liquid on the handkerchief. Like, the first time you watch it, it's like, oh, that's weird. Is he an alien? But then the second, like, when I rewatched this and I saw that, I'm like, oh, that is such, like, a subtle tip, and it's so cool. And it's actually rather disturbing just thinking about what's to come,
Yeah, I expected something completely different, strangely enough. Like, here's what I expected, right? And I think it's because of, like, Spider-Man and, like, other comic books. I expected the CEO running the company, I expected him to be doing experiments on people and turning them into monsters. Not because he didn't, like want to be experimented on, but it was happening.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be a situation where I remember in Spider-Man, even though he isn't the one that experimented on him, but at one point the guy who became the Scorpion was extremely upset at J. Jonah Jameson because he feels as if, like, oh, it's his fault that he's this way because I think he used to work for the Bugle or something, and I forgot what the exact story was, but the point is that he was pissed off at J. Jonah Jameson, so as the Scorpion, he came in to the Daily Bugle to try and destroy it, but of course Spider-Man was there. And it's funny because Spider-Man comes in, tries to save the day, and J. Jonah Jameson's like, I knew it! You're with him! It's like, really, JJ? But still, it's like I thought that was going to happen because there's green coming out of his nose. He looks a little off, his eyes. So I was sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is some, like, weird genetic testing stuff. Because it just kind of makes, to me, it makes sense with the superhero plot. Like, not giant monsters, but, like, normal-sized monsters. Because, again, this is Doctor Who. So you think, oh, yes, monsters. Now, what's interesting is I don't want to, like, it works with a superhero / sci-fi plot, so I don't want to make it seem like, oh, they had to save budget. But I do wonder if, because of the budget used on the suit and CG and other stuff they wanted to use it on, if they wanted to save the budget and just make them brains. Because think about it. The villains were humanoid with some makeup the whole time.
Right.
Like, isn't that an interesting thought? Like, all of the villains were humanoid with makeup. Like, there was no, like, monstrous form or anything like that. Like, all they were people, just with, granted, yes, it took some work to, like, split open the heads and stuff like that.
Right.
But,
that was
so
creepy.
Oh, what's creepier is when he, like, pulled stuff out of it. Like, at one point I was like, what else are you going to pull out there, buddy? You got a snack too?
When like at the end when he's got the reporter hostage and he pulls, like, the pistol out, it's like, why didn't you just have that, like, in your back pocket? Like, why does it have to be in your brain?
I think it's just easier for them, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, it's creepy, man. That's creepy.
And it's weird, like, I know Doctor Who kind of does it a lot where it's like you said, a lot of it is humanoids. Like, the evil aliens are, like, humanoid, and it's just people with a little bit of makeup. But, like, I feel in this case, like, I don't know, they played it up enough that, like, I wasn't bothered by that in any sense. Like, it flowed, and it came together really nicely in a way that Doctor Who kind of, like, does. Yeah.
Yeah. It worked really well. It's just me analyzing it, like, after the fact, not in the moment. Like, watching it, I was like, yeah, this is great. But now, while we're on a podcast talking about it, right, I'm just sitting here like, wait a minute. We didn't have an official, like, monster. You know what I mean? Like, an actual, like, them looking like like in a monstrous form or something like that.
Right.
So I kind of sat back and I was like, oh, man, that might potentially have been because of the budget, right? Which, again, is not a problem. It's just, it was an interesting thought that, came to my head. I was like, right, we never saw, like, some kind of, like, demon or anything like that. It was like, no, they are brains with eyes inside people. And, yeah. And then, of course, their heads can split open, and they can pull out fun goodies, like their
Right.
piñatas. Oh, God, scary-ass piñatas. Yeah, is there anything else you want to say about the special? Because I honestly, other than the fact that Grant trying to balance everything was like, Grant, you fool.
Yeah. There are some
Also,
situations that are just too stupid to continue.
What I
the
thought was
doctor
really
saying it to him. Oh,
yeah.
man.
What made me laugh is when he goes, like when he finally has to reveal himself, and he goes, "I think you need to step aside." I was just waiting for her to be like, "Ghost, what are you doing here? Where did Grant go?"
Oh, God.
Because at that point, I was just like, so like, does it make sense now? Like literally, the second the ghost is gone, what are you doing up here? I'm the babysitter. It was
Right.
funny, but like at the same time, it's just like, Grant, why did you think that was appropriate? Why did you not come back as Ghost? Why did you do that? Also, by the way, I would like to add, they give him super speed. Now, granted, look, I know he's like Superman in the Golden Age, where like he has, he's fast and he can potentially fly, depending on which year you're looking at, depending on which variation in that age. But still, my point is that this, right? He can fly, he can go real fast. So they're sitting there and they're like, if you move, we'll kill her. I'm like, you can't take her away, really? Like for some odd reason, it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
they are going to kill her. I'm like,
I guess it's
huh?
with the amount of gun. Like there were like the surgeons too. I mean, I guess technically he was the only one with the gun, but I don't know. I feel like he was close enough, and he like the ghost, like Grant was far enough away that even with the super speed, it's like it'd be cutting it awful close.
I guess. It's just like, I would rather have not given him that then. Like, I would have been okay if
Yeah.
you don't give him that. And that's my take
Right.
on it. Like, don't give him the super speed, and then it's like he can fly, but it doesn't mean that he's super fast. And it could be like, well,
Right.
and also another thing too, by the way, when you give him an item inside of him that he's already in his 20s, he can control it. So, like, for him to be like, oh, wait a minute, you're saying I can't save her? Hey, Dwarf Star, give me what I want. Make me, super
right.
fast. It's
I feel like
I
that
don't know, it's a weird.
might have pushed it a little too far, though. Like
He
the
dies.
Star being like, "Yeah, gotcha, man," and then it's like now he's even faster. I don't know. I feel like that would have been too much for me.
Oh, well, no, I'm not saying that it would have been good. Like, I'm just saying that it makes sense. Because
Right.
that's kind of what it, like, you gave him this, like, you gave him a device that basically said, like, the doctor could have literally said, you're OP, right, kid? Like, you know that, right? Like, because literally, all he has to do, like, all the kid has to say is, I'm the fastest man alive. Now he's the Flash. I'm the strongest man alive. Now he's Superman, I guess? Hulk? I don't know. But, like, very strong person. I can fly. Now you're Superman. Like, literally, you can't wish for like material things, but still, it can give you what you want. So like, it can change his body completely. So just the idea of like, oh no, I can't stop this. Really, Grant? Can you really not stop this? So I just kind of threw me off a little bit. Like that's just my take on it. Like I feel like when you give a guy that kind of power, and then it's just like, oh no, I guess you can't get away from this gun. But then apparently he can fly away and then come back as himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why I said, like, it's not the superhero plot that, like, drives me to love this. It's just it not involving anything that we've had over the past few seasons.
Right. Oh, I love 12 saying to Grant, like, as they go in for the kiss and he's levitating away, he's like, or, oh, no, it was just before they kiss. He's like, look, if you two are about to, get into some things, like, do you mind getting rid of that first? It's still kind of dangerous.
Well, that was while they were floating. No, you were right.
Yeah,
the first time.
well,
That's when they were floating and kissing.
Well, yeah, I felt like he says it, like he reiterates, though, like after they start floating away, he's like, Grant, you still have to get rid of the bomb. Like, throw it in the sun when you're done or something. I don't care. Just please don't forget about that.
The first time, the first time it was less. The first time he reminded him, like,
right.
Okay, before you guys, do whatever you're about to do, please remember that you are holding a bomb. Right. Then the second time, it was like, okay, like, before you're or after you're done, whatever, just throw it away.
Right. And then I love that Grant, throws him the baby monitor, and the doctor's like, yeah, you know what? You've earned it. Go ahead. I'll watch the kid. I laughed so fucking hard. Do you still think you can get away, doctor? Yeah. Bzz, bzz. What the fuck? Like, I love it. Dude, your entire army is dead. You have no bomb, and you have no gun. Go away. And UNIT is about to raid your tower. You're done.
Even though they were in New York, I was kind of like, is there no UNIT? Granted, I was okay with it because I didn't want them interacting with Grant, because it's kind of like I think they would come to Grant first.
Yeah, they'd have
him being the ghost?
Say about that, probably.
Yeah, there'd be something to say about that. But
they're like, Doctor,
but I was happy.
You altered a human on Earth. Like, how many times have we told, like, you can't be doing this shit. Now we've got to take him to a secret facility, and it's going to be messy, and it's like, just get the fuck out of here, will you?
Yeah, that they'd have a nice word to share with the Doctor. Some nice words. But so yeah, I understand that you kept them away, but I was still happy that it's kind of like, yeah, when you need backup to come in, yeah, you send in UNIT. Though I just don't know what year they're in, man, because you have the Doctor, I guess, show up in the past to meet the kid, right? So show up in the past to meet the kid. They never really show you officially what year it is, when he's in high school or whatever. Because even what he's wearing is pretty contemporary. But what was interesting is, once you bring in UNIT, and once you, because it was the Doctor was like, oh, I've been gone for 24 years. Just that is kind of meaningless to the Earth unless you're saying that it was 24. Because it's he visited the kid during adolescence. So is Grant now in his 30s? Because I thought he was in his 20s. But maybe he is in his early 30s.
Yeah, I feel like it could have gone either way.
Well, no, the reason why I'm saying this is because, when you have UNIT and when Osgood is mentioned, I'm like, so is it the quote-unquote present day? It's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like in 30 years, we're going to, not you and I specifically, but, the fan base is going to have another, in-depth discussion on moments like this, in the same way that the fan base currently has in-depth discussions on when the Doctor even worked with UNIT. Was it in the 70s or in the 80s? Because there were a lot of different discrepancies with, Doctor Who was airing in the 70s and 80s when he was working with UNIT. But there was, we never officially had a timeline of when in their universe, in the Doctor Who universe, when he was working with UNIT. What years. We just assumed that it was 70s and 80s. But that's why I think you and I mentioned to you, it wasn't in the Husbands of River Song, but it was in Series 9 when the Doctor makes that one joke about I worked with him in the 70s or the 80s. Can't keep track.
Right, yeah.
That's why he made that joke, because there's still some discrepancies on what year he was in. I feel like we're going to be having those same discussions here where it's I guess it's present day.
Yeah.
And some people might go, well, Matt, why is it hard to tell? Why is it so hard? It's hard to tell, at least for me anyway, because you have phones, so it's apps, that's normal. But just the company developing this technology and seeming so large and the way the buildings were shaped, again, as a New Yorker, it doesn't seem like you're in New York. It seemed like they were in a futuristic New York. That's just my take on it. It didn't seem if I told you, I was Tristan, all of that happened in 2016. Even in a Doctor Who universe, wouldn't you feel a little skeptical?
I mean, I guess.
I don't know, like just the sets. That's what I'm saying. They felt more futuristic than present day. So when he called in Unit, and they're like, Osgood, and I'm like, oh, so that's 2016 apparently.
Right.
Yeah. Anywho, is there anything you want to say about the special before we wrap things up?
Yeah, like a few good lines here and there. I especially love, like, Nardole has, like, it's funny, like, he kind of has that sass with the Doctor that River does, but, like, a lot more subdued. Like, he kind of usually says it under his breath or, like, as an off comment, and the Doctor will look at him and then continue on with what he was doing. Well, if it was River, he would have been like, ah! And then she would have been like, no. Come on, sweetie. I won this one. Like, because he was talking about, Grant, I told him not to use his superpowers. He's an anomaly. He shouldn't even be in this world. It's like, he took that, like, is that supposed to be like the Time Lord promise? It's like to always be the Watcher and to never interfere. And the Doctor just looks at him like,
listen here, motherfucker.
Yeah. Because then they go into the whole thing, they're trying to work on keeping the spaceship from crashing. And that was another, like, great piece. He's just like, oh, you told me something important. Well, what do you mean? I didn't tell you anything. It's like, you told me the time. It's like I can't control the ship. I can't get out. I can't stop it from exploding, but there's only one thing that I can do to throw off your to throw off your plan. Well, what the hell is that? By doing the unexpected. Oh, it's the smile again. I don't like the smile. It's like, you've trapped me in a room full of buttons. And what do I do with buttons? I love pressing every single one of them. You're insane. You're going to crash the giant explosion into New York yourself. Yes, but you weren't ready for it to happen yet. So now you have to deal with how to figure out how to stop this.
And of course, the Doctor knew that, Grant / Ghost would help save the day, but to them, they're like, oh, wait, we weren't prepared for this.
Right.
Like, we're out and about. Fuck.
Right, because they hadn't recalled all their operatives yet to come back to the tower where it was safe. Oh,
exactly.
And that was just hysterical. Like, he's like, Grant, I'm sending this directly to you. There's basically a giant ship that is now going to cause a huge explosion over New York and will level everything. Over to you. Grant,
you know what to do.
He doesn't bat an eye. He's like, all right, I got this. It's not even like a thought in his mind, like, can I stop that? I mean, I kind of have to stop that, but, like, can I actually fucking do that?
It's one Grant. That's what it is. One Grant! Yeah. 3, 2, 1, the Ghost. Like, that's just all it is.
Oh, God.
That's all it was. It was just, he's basically One Punch Man. I think we should all just clarify.
Oh, God.
Doesn't it make sense if you... No, because I took it as like, oh, he's like, old school Superman, doesn't really like think he can't do something, especially with Lois Lane and everything like that. But honestly, he's One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Just kind of, because like he doesn't have literally any problem doing any of this. It's like, yeah, man, I can. I guess, yeah, right. Like, it's just kind of funny. He just kept his hair. But anyway, so we going to say good night to everyone. Although I don't know when everyone's listening to this, but I mean, we'll say good night. Right, we're doing this at night. We're pre-recording it at night. So I want to say thank you for listening in, everyone, for another Doctor Who Wednesday. This special has me extremely excited for Series 10. I might even get a head start on it before next week, before we have to do it. I might not, but there's something in me telling me that I should, because I am in love with, and it's funny, because whenever I'm, like, really, like, hyped for something, it usually disappoints. So I hope this doesn't do that. I hope this actually lives up to expectations, my expectations, because we're getting something, like I've been saying over and over and over. It's funny. Me saying it so much, I probably don't sound new and fresh, but we're getting something different, right? We're getting something different, and I like it. So I want to thank you all for sending in. to another episode of Doctor Who Wednesday. And we're just going to wrap up things here. If any of you guys want to listen to more of our shows, go to our social media accounts. Our Facebook is /ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, our Twitter is @ThoseGuysRadio, and our Instagram is /ThoseGuysOnTheRadio. You get any updates on newer shows that we have going on. Also, our Let's Plays that we have over at our YouTube channel, Those Guys Play. You can search that up as well. Currently, we're doing a series called Summer of Love for this month, where I'm playing different dating sims, occasional visual novel, but mostly dating sims throughout this entire month. And this is actually, in a way, a continuation of 12 Nights of Love that I did back in February, which I did from the start of February all the way up until come on, Valentine's Day. That's Matt. Did you have a Valentine? Stop it. That's how Matt feels. But yes, so we've been doing that. We also have our other regularly scheduled releases. We have so much going on right now. I mean, we have, Those Guys Play Animal Crossing. We have Those Guys Play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. We just, Tristan and I just beat Luigi's Mansion. We also have Those Guys Play Dragon Ball Z, where he and I just beat the main story for Budokai, the original Budokai, and now we're moving on to Infinite World. We've also, you and I, Tristan, we've also played, I said we're moving on to Infinite World, going back to it rather. But you and I have played Super Dragon Ball Z, and we've played Ultimate Battle 22. And oh my God, Tristan, Ultimate Battle 22, dear God. But we've also played some good games, Tristan. Right, Tristan?
Yeah.
Like Disney's Dinosaur, or no, I'm kidding. I mean, we have played it, but good God, no, not a good game. Anyway, so. Also, by the way, if any of you want to follow our main website, which has some of our lovely merchandise on there, go to teacherproduction.net/merchandise, or you can go over to our eBay, which actually has exclusive posters that you can only get there, and you can search up /ThoseGuysRadio, and you can find that over at our eBay channel, which, by the way, eBay also has T-shirts for Those Guys Play and other funny things I've said on the podcast, just like our main merchandise page does. But again, exclusive posters drawn by one of our podcasters / Let's Players, Anthony Sanandris. And Anthony Sanandris and I have done other, Friday night movie stuff, usually, funnily enough, with superheroes. And he and I have also done... again, superheroes, right? Apparently today is superhero night. He and I have also played Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects. And, so thinking about, and our Patreon as well, TG Productions. Go there if you want to help support us. Depending on what tier you donate to, you can get something special. And, again, you just help us be us. So whatever you guys want to do, just thank you so much for listening, as always. And I hope you all have a good night. So say good night, Tristan.
Things end, and it's always sad, but everything begins again, and it's happy. That's happy. Be happy. Good night, everyone.
You say that as we're doing another episode next week. This would have been a lot more dramatic if we actually did it on time. My fault, but still. Sorry, you say that, it's like, we'll see you next week for not an end. In fact, a new beginning.
It was the doctor's line, and I wanted to use it.
I know.
Because it was impactful, and I liked it.
It was impactful. Nice things. No, I mean, that's true. I definitely can't let that happen.
God damn it.
All right, thank you all. You have a good night. Goodbye.